Basically, I knew that there was I felt like my odds of qualifying were like 50-50 because if I'm talking about seeding, I feel like I'm somewhere around 6, anywhere between like 5 to 7. Because when you look at my recent tourney results over the past like few months between Big House, EGLX, and DreamHack, I got 5th at a Super Major and then 2nd, showing that I wasn't EGLX. I beat HBox once. I was one hit, more like one SD and into a choke away from winning that. So in a universe where I didn't SD, I would have actually been up on HBox this year with a 3-0 set score. So like that universe almost happened, to just put in perspective how close that universe was to happening. So it's not like Big House's win was just a fluke because I showed that I could do it again and practically 3 times, right? And then I beat None twice. I beat IBBW. I wasn't too bad. I've been winning the doubles tourneys, so like I've shown that I'm not like even like I'm not that bad, right? Like I feel like I've proved I'm at least a top 8 player, right? But at the same time, you could also punish me for being inactive 8 months. There's also that strong argument, and it's like, okay, it's what's fair to each person. So I knew my odds of getting in was already like 50-50, just to get that out of the way. I felt like it was going to be between like me, Plup, Wizzy, and AMSA for the last spot because I felt like we were the least consistent seeding-wise. Like I felt like the top of the other 6 were like guaranteed with their seed, but Wizzy also took like a 6-month break. I did substantially better than Wizrobe at EGLX and Big House each. I did a lot better than Plup at Big House, and I've been more active recently. Wizzy and Plup did better the first half of the year, but that's also because I wasn't entering the first half of the year, so there's that too. So you can use different arguments to get different cases. AMSA did all right for a while, but then he stopped doing things for another half year, kind of like Wizzy. And, like yeah, basically the whole point is that it's highly debatable who got like the 8th spot or 9th spot or whatever. I feel like Summit, if they were gonna have 18 people in the tourney, I feel like they should have just did 10 invitees. But maybe I'm just biased because I'm like at the borderline of being voted in or not. I'm at the borderline, so you could argue that I'm biased, even though I would have honestly said that regardless, just because it makes sense. But if you have 18 people that are in, I felt like you should have more than eight people invited. But yeah, again, these are just my opinions. Call me biased or not, that I would have said the same thing. I almost definitely probably would have said the same thing even if I was one of the top 8. So as somebody who tried to help Wizzy get in for years, Wizzy told me how he didn't like that his fans were paying a lot of money to get him into Summit, but then there's a high chance that Wizzy doesn't get into Summit anyway. Like, there has been so many times that, like, Wizzy's fans threw a lot of money at, like, the Summit thing to try to pay money to Summit to try to get votes, but then the last second they got spirit bombed, and then it didn't work. And then, like, this happened at least 2 times that I remember, and after that, Wizzy was like, yeah, I don't want to keep like taking advantage of the fact that like I have a fan base that pays all this money, and not only does Wizzy not see the money, but like the fans don't get what they want either. So the fans basically use their money, and it only went to benefit Summit, and it didn't even benefit Wizzy, who they were trying to benefit. So like after seeing this happen multiple times with my friends, I also made my decision, and I've told the Summit guys this like I've even made this statement like almost a year ago, like 10 months ago or so. I don't feel comfortable doing the voting system either because I don't want my fans to pay a lot of money and then like the same thing happened to Wizzy. Now, I understand that logically speaking, my odds are higher than Wizzy's simply just because that I have a bigger following, but I don't agree with the concept in general. So you understand, I don't want my fans to like put in money if it's not even like a guaranteed thing. And I'd rather people just support, if people want to support me directly, I would rather you support me directly. So I'm going to go to Genesis and try to qualify, and if I fail to get like top 8 or 9 at Genesis, I can't go. And it's very, very unlikely that I'll want to go to that one last-minute qualifier, because honestly, guys, I don't do good when I know that like I'm playing not to lose rather than like I don't do good with these like types of mentalities. I usually do good when I'm not expecting to do good, and I do bad when I'm trying to like not do bad. It's kind of weird. Like I have these weird mentalities where obviously sometimes I'm like way up here with my gameplay and mentality, and sometimes I'm way down here with my gameplay mentality. I don't want to fly all the way across somewhere just to constantly be thinking about, oh, what if I don't get this last spot, yada yada. I'm probably going to perform bad. I've analyzed myself the past 14 years. I already know what my common flow charts are in terms of like mentality stuff. So I'm basically just going to bank it. There's a 95% chance I'm just going to bank it on like, if I do get a Genesis, I'm going. But I don't want my fan base to throw all this money in Summit and then me not even see any, and then there's a chance it won't even work anyway. I don't agree with the system. I'm not saying you have to have the same opinion. You can choose to like it. You can choose not to. I'm just explaining my perspective and my logic and my reasoning why I don't want to go that path. Sure, it would technically benefit me more to do it, but I don't feel morally right about doing that. And the reasoning, as I said, but my experiences of Wizzy, talking to Wizzy about it, realize, wait, I want to not do that type of stuff either. Understand? So, the sad thing is, Genesis is always the tourney where I play, like, garbage. It might just be coincidence, though. Like, I don't know. I feel like every turn, like, I know, yeah, it's, like, tied with Evo for the hardest tournament, but that doesn't have anything to do with the people I beat and lose to at other turns. Like, I've clearly showed I could beat top players at many other turns over the years, but I always play, like, below my peak ability at Genesis. The last time I played at my peak ability in Genesis was like 2016. I had some Sheik Dittos of Plup, where I beat Plup, Axe, and a bunch of other good players, and I was one hit away from 3-1ing Armada. And like I felt like I did really good at that Genesis. And then the next several years, I always play like this the whole year, and then I play like this at Genesis, like relative to my own abilities, my own averages, my own peaks. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't just factor in the worst result. Like I factor in a lot of things in my head. But yeah, so I feel like my odds of even qualifying for Genesis is like 50-50, knowing that I haven't really been playing. I've been playing computers, right? But if you watch my set against like Fiction IBBW, like yeah, I beat IBBW because I'm still like a good player. But you can still remember if you watch that and Fiction set, you'll see that I just don't remember a lot of stuff in neutral. I flub a lot of my combos. I just don't remember the optimal thing to do in a lot of scenarios simply because I haven't really been playing Melee all year. And when I have been playing Melee, I've been playing only computers for the most part. That helped me against HBox because against HBox, the most important thing is Fox tech skill and being able to ledge dash consistently. So I was able to practice that alone, but that's one of the things where like, and then I played Wizrobe, so my last 2 set wins on none. It makes sense. Like I'm still like a little in shape against Captain Falcon. So when you factor these 2 things in, it's not too surprising that like my wins on none and HBox happened. But I still feel like I'm nowhere near my peak when it came to like Fox and Falco, because usually when I'm good against Spaceys, it's by constantly going to tourneys over and over and over, right? But I haven't been doing that, and that's how I got good. That's how I get unrusty. So right now, you could say I'm like the opposite of Zane in terms of rustiness. Like, I mean, yeah. I'm just trying to like explain all my thoughts so you got the same picture as me. So anyway, I got off topic by accident. Back to the topic of Summit. I'm pretty sad that I can't go. I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday I was actually really depressed. I'm not depressed on it today because you know passing in time just made the impact less. But I'm still not happy about it, obviously. But I don't agree with the voting system, at least not for my fan base. If people want to support me, I don't want them to do it based on how good or bad I do during a tournament or any of this other stuff I mentioned earlier. I want it to be based on if you like me or if you want to support me. If you think I'm a person worth supporting, then I'd like you to support me. And if you don't want to, then you know, oh well, I can't do anything about it. That's pretty much my basic idea. And I'm probably only going to go for Genesis for the qualifier. I don't know if I'll perform like garbage like I usually do at Genesis. I always play bad at Genesis. But I hope it doesn't happen 3 times in a row. Because the last 2 times I played way below my ability. I just hope it doesn't happen 3 times in a row. But you know, there's always a chance that that happens. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Those are all my Summit thoughts. I can't be too mad in the sense that like, you know, there's obviously other players that wanted to do it. Like obviously like Ams is a good player too. IBBW is a good player. Like there's a lot of good players that could have been like in contention anyway. It just sucks that I was on the borderline and the 50-50 didn't work out for me. That's how I saw it in my logic. So if I do get into Summit, I'm going to practice hard for it. I'm going to practice a lot while there. I think this could be really good for like getting me back into shape. I think Summit's a great opportunity for me to get back in shape because I feel like my peak ability is here, but I've been playing here in a lot of matchups just because I'm not used to fighting people, you know? Like just being away from a certain situation or various situations for so long, only fighting computers, like there's a lot of rustiness that you want to undo. And I'm still in that. I could still feel it when I was playing friendlies at Shine. I could still feel how like out of practice I was and how I forgot so many different situations that used to be free autopilots for me, and now it's no longer that. But my biggest plan, regardless of if I get to Summit or not, I'm still going to focus on my book most of 2020 after Summit. But if that doesn't happen, I'm just going to go straight into like booking YouTube after Genesis. And I'm trying to get it out this year. Again, that's a different topic, but I'm just explaining, since it's on the same topic flowchart in my head, trying to explain everything all at once so it flowcharts off my head into words. So, yep, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say. I could get anywhere between like losing in round 2. I could lose in pools. I could very easily lose before bracket, and I could there's a very tiny chance I could win the tournament, but there's also a very good chance I could lose in like round 1 or 2 pools. I honestly think that because like I've shown I have really high peaks, but I've never taken so here's the reality. In 18 years of playing Melee, I haven't taken a break as long as I did this year. And me getting back into shape was literally just playing computers and Wizrobe, which reflected onto wins on HBox and none. That does not necessarily mean it'll reflect into other matchups. I don't know. I don't have enough data. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything. Those are all my honest thoughts. And, well, I guess we'll just see what happens.